and welcome to my channel. Join me as we take you through history on this 25th day of February. Pope Pius V issued the bull Regnans in Excelsis, which excommunicated Queen Elizabeth I of England. This absolved her subjects from allegiance. Elizabeth responded by hanging and burning Jesuits. Regnans in Excelsis is a papal bull that Pope Pius V issued on February 25, 1570. It excommunicated Queen Elizabeth I of England, referring to her as the pretended Queen of England and the servant of crime, declared her a heretic, and released her subjects from allegiance to her, even those who had sworn oaths to her, and excommunicated any who obeyed her orders. We charge and command all and singular the nobles, subjects, peoples and others aforesaid that they do not dare obey her orders, mandates and laws. Those who shall act to the contrary we include in the like sentence of excommunication. Cheyney University was established in Pennsylvania through the bequest of Richard Humphreys, and became the oldest institution of higher learning for African Americans. It was initially named the African Institute. However, the name was changed several weeks later to the Institute for Colored Youth, ICY. In subsequent years, the university was renamed Cheyney Training School for Teachers, 1914, Cheyney State Teachers College, 1951, Cheyney State College, 1959, and eventually Cheyney University of Pennsylvania, 1983. Hiram Revels was sworn in as the first black member of Congress. Revels was born free in 1827 in Fayetteville, North Carolina, to free people of color, with ancestors who had been free since before the American Revolution. 1. His parents were of African American, European, and Native American ancestry. His mother was also specifically known to be of Scots descent. His father was a Baptist preacher. On February 25, 1870, Revels, on a party line vote of 48-8, with Republicans voting in favor and Democrats voting against, became the first African American to be seated in the United States Senate. Cassius Clay, later Muhammad Ali, became world heavyweight boxing champion by defeating Sonny Liston in Miami Beach. The famous world champion, who was given the name Muhammad Ali in 1964 after converting to Islam, was born Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. on January 14, 1942, in Louisville, Kentucky. Clay began boxing when he was 12 years old under the instruction of Louisville policeman Joe Martin. Ali famously proclaimed, "I am the greatest," following his 6-round victory over the much-favored Sonny Liston on February 25, 1964. He won the gold medal at the 1960 Olympic Games in Rome. He defeated Tunney Hunsaker in his pro boxing debut, winning the fight in 6 rounds. Elijah Muhammad, born in 1897 as Elijah Poole, is a U.S. leader of the Detroit-based Nation of Islam and Black Muslims, died in Chicago. His son W. Dean Muhammad, 1933–2008, was soon elected Supreme Minister of the Nation of Islam. Elijah Muhammad was an American religious leader, black separatist, and self-proclaimed messenger of Allah who led the Nation of Islam from 1934 until his death in 1975. Muhammad was also the teacher and mentor of Malcolm X, Louis Farrakhan, Muhammad Ali, and his own son, Warith Deen Muhammad. In Zimbabwe, Morgan Tsvangirai, presidential candidate, was charged with treason for allegedly plotting to assassinate President Mugabe. The Mel Gibson film, Passion of Christ, premiered on Ash Wednesday. Gibson has touted the Passion as a precise portrayal of the biblical story of Jesus' last day, and filmed it in the Latin and Aramaic that would have been spoken by participants in the historical events. Some theologists and other critics have alleged both mistakes in the film and anti-Jewish tendencies in the interpretation of the story. An early cut of the movie has also been described as an astonishingly graphic portrayal of death by crucifixion. Uganda government President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni officially approved the establishment of the Lake Victoria Free Trade Zone, also known as the Sesamara Eco-City. In 2008, China announced a commercial investment in the project. Heavy rains from a cyclone sparked more flooding in Mozambique, worsening a humanitarian crisis that has already killed 45 people and forced 140,000 from their homes. And today, been 25th of February 2023, another hit from Cyclone Freddy, which hit country after wreaking havoc in Madagascar. Tropical Cyclone Freddy, one of the longest-lasting systems in the southern hemisphere, slammed into Mozambique on Friday, as UN agencies helped residents with early action. Mozambique is regularly hit by the impacts of tropical cyclones, and flooding often poses a greater risk than the winds, WMO said. In January 2021, Tropical Cyclone Eloise caused widespread damage and flooding on a long swathe of coastline and impacted an area that is still recovering from Cyclone Idai, which hit in March 2019. In Rwanda, French President Nicolas Sarkozy visited with President Paul Kagame to cement improved diplomatic relations following years of acrimony, recriminations and diplomatic standoffs over events surrounding the 1994 genocide. He said France made serious errors of judgment over the genocide, and those responsible for the killings should be found and punished, including any who might be residing in France. In Arusha, Tanzania, the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda, ICTR, found Lieutenant Colonel Ephraim Sitako guilty of genocide, crimes against humanity and murder. The chamber found that Sitako ordered the killings on April 25, 1994 of 30 to 40 Tutsis at Makamura military camp in Ruhengeri Prefecture and around 10 other Tutsis there on May 11, 1994. President Barack Obama signed an executive order freezing assets held by Gaddafi and 4 of his children in the United States. A UN human rights report documented thousands of cases of beheadings, arbitrary detention and torture involving electrocution and beatings with pipes and cables in an increasingly lawless Libya, where impunity has grown since the fall of Muammar Gaddafi. Sudan's former President Omar al-Bashir issued decrees giving security forces powers to search buildings, restrict movements of people and public transportation, arrest individuals suspected of crimes related to the state of emergency and seize assets or property during investigations. Police fired tear gas at hundreds of protesters in Khartoum against a state of emergency imposed by President Omar al-Bashir to end rallies against his rule. That's all we have for you today on History Today. Thanks for watching and see you next Saturday. Please subscribe, comment, like and share.